looking at the face of a broken man, obscured by the light of a screen reflecting off of his glasses. I'm just done. And completely blind since I took off my glasses, but I'm done. Just, it's not worth it. It's not. I go into my freaking promos to get out of Bronze 4 on a fucking 5-game winning streak. 4, actually, because the 5th one was the first of my promos. And in all 5 of those games, I'm doing great. I'm like, my mechanics are sound. I'm doing like super great. You know, like I managed to like outduel my opponent when I get top. And I managed to like outfarm my opponent when I'm ADC. And I managed to have a decent support that knows how to properly synergize with me. And when I'm top, I know I get teams with a basic mechanical comprehension of how to play the fucking game. But then, lo and behold, I'm dreading it, because I know it's going to happen. You can't have more than a 50% fun rate in this fucking game. I'm like, oh, it's dread. I mean, I'm on a 5-win streak. It's inevitable. It happens every time. I'm going to go into the next game, and I'm going to lose terribly. And I lose terribly because some motherfucker goes Tryndamere Ignite top, and there's absolutely no fucking stopping that without some freaking team help. Even then, against the bullshit, cancerous, you better freaking rip your own eyeballs out and beat them through your skull if you do that to some other fucking human being, I still manage to do freaking well. But inevitably, Tryndamere is just going to become fucking invincible and kill me no matter what I do or where I am or what position I'm in or what I do to stop him. And inevitably, the jungler's going to try and stop this, but it's not going to fucking matter because he's just going to go invincible and make it an even trade. And then the jungler's just going to fucking abandon you because it's impossible to actually make that go the other direction. And then every other lane is going to be doing terribly, and then every other lane will not have any teamfight focus and refuse to properly counterplay the fucking Tryndamere that was first pick, and they made specifically sure they didn't counterpick. And then in the next fucking game, the freaking mid laner is going to switch from the counterpick to Akali in mid to something that Akali can absolutely positively fucking shit on, and never be mid for the first entire portion of the game, never keeping any track on the freaking Akali mid, lie saying that she teleported down when her teleport was clearly up, and you can see that with the fucking tab button, and causing a lane that was going reasonably well, despite the fact that my fucking support kept diving in stupidly at every fucking opportunity when there was no possible way I could possibly follow up, and getting caught out constantly by the Alistar in the lane, and doing her best to chase every single situation and never fucking peel for me because her fucking Zenith Blade is half the time on cooldown because she keeps trying to use it on fucking minions. And then she's going to yell at everyone else in the game for every single fucking mistake they make and blame me for every mistake she's making because she decides to roam mid when they're preparing for a major push bot, and freaking blame me for trying to hold a lane and dying to a tower dive. As if I was up the freaking lane. Why do I have such bad luck with Fioras? Not Fioras, Leonas. Why do I get all the shit Fioras? Why can't I get a Fiora that isn't a skillless, toxic piece of shit that doesn't know their basic, fundamental aspects of their job? If you're a long-time viewer of my videos, you've seen my previous videos talking about, matches I've had, and, my previous ranked games of, super, really toxic people, and where I've said I've had the worst game in my life in ranked, and the best game of my life in ranked. This every single toxic player I have ever described on this channel, condense that into a Leona, and then put her in that game. Every toxic player, every single bad thing you could possibly envision in a League of Legends player, and put that in your support. That was the freaking last promotional game I just had. And at this point, I probably am going to mean that in more than the fact that it was just my last of the 3. And I'm going to try again. That might be my last playing of Ranked, because I am sick and fucking tired of it. I'm sick and fucking tired of it. When I have a team with a basic fundamental comprehension of mechanics and doesn't try to freaking play the game by ravenously headbutting and chewing on their keyboard, I can play competently. I can go on massive fucking kill streaks. I can slaughter people. I can just carry super hard, be a playmaker, be doing all sorts of crazy shit, making excellent picks, focusing on the right people, doing all the right things, mechanically sound, fight left and right, just being a contributing part of the team, while having a good amount of kills and a good amount of assists. I can just go. And I rarely lose the laning phase unless it's against a really super toxic piece of shit like Trintamir with Ignite top, and something like random doesn't happen with my support not warding and mid not being mid, letting the Akali roam wherever the fuck she pleases. I rarely ever actually lose my lane. In the majority of the games I play, I do fine. And when I don't do fine, I admit the mistakes I made. But in that game with that Leona, the single worst game I have had in the 2 years I have played this game. And that includes the time I had a Leona support that spent more time in the jungle taking my jungler's camps than in the lane, and appeared in the lane just long enough to feed my fucking lane. And I was flamed for the entire game by the fucking Vi that was desperately trying to hold my lane up, with the support constantly feeding. Condense both of that into the Leona I had in my last game, and then magnify the severity of her incompetence by 2, because she's in the lane and doing everything she can to get me killed, and then blaming me when I'm trying to fucking play with a remote semblance of confidence. I'm just fucking done. I am usually calm, cool, and monotone to a fault, with a clear, concise, mechanical understanding of everything that is wrong with a champion, a playstyle, and the mechanics of what every lane is supposed to do and how they're supposed to fight. My fundamental understanding of mechanics is always sound, and I approach everything from a fairly analytical standpoint. Analytical standpoint. But I am this fucking salty. I am this fucking tilted. I am done. I'm done. Do not play ranked if you have not. Just don't. It's not worth it. It's a nightmare. It's a hellish nightmare. You'll run into good, competent teams, sure, and it will feel great that you've won a game, that you've advanced. It's like, oh, I've hit my promos, and inevitably, you'll get slapped right back down. You'll go on winning streaks and then lose twice as many. And it will sometimes be your fault, but sometimes you'll get the most toxic, incompetent people in the entire goddamn world. If you're just starting out in ranked, you might as well be trying to play in a 5-stack with 4 seals. Half of the time. You just can't have more than a 50% fun rate in this game. And you will be stuck in lower elos forever. Well, it will seem like forever. You will okay. I'll admit, some players get out of bronze. It's obviously. If I were like Faker or some shit, or like some reasonably competent player that comfortably sits in like gold and plat and diamond, I could crawl out of bronze. I could probably get out of bronze even at my current skill level if I was willing to put up with this shit. But even some like more competent players could probably carry these teams that I keep getting. And I've probably made some crucial misplays in a lot of the games I've played. I'll admit, some of the losses that I've had during the advancement towards the promos, I could have played a lot better. I've made some key mistakes. But in these two games, I swear to God, I admit I have previous examples of me admitting my faults and saying and admitting when I could have played better in the games outside of this video. I mean, I don't go into an extreme amount of detail because, like, most of my like mistakes are like, oh, I accidentally hit this button, or I should have like dashed to the right, or I should not have dove there. I was a little too late in saving the ally, but I'd already did the initiation trying to save them, or I should have done this. Just small little mechanical quirks, or I could have counterpicked against that better, and I probably could have like picked something better to go up against Trendemir. You know, if I had a little bit more experience facing that cancer, I probably could have done better, and he wouldn't have gotten fed as fuck. And, like, we still would have had to deal with every other lane, but it wouldn't have been a catastrophe teleporting around the map. I'll admit that, like, the first of the two games I've been complaining about, I had involvement in, like, making go bad. The Trendemir got fed because I couldn't stop him. But the Trendemir Ignite top is cancerous as fuck, and my team was not anywhere near oriented to play against it, and refused to focus him. And his team had a Nautilus who would peel religiously for his ass because he was so fucking fed. There was not much I could have done differently, but I could have done some things differently, and it could have gone better. But that game with that Leona, that game with that Leona, my God, I wish I could. I've had a policy of not like revealing my like in-game name for privacy's sake, and not posting gameplay footage because mostly because I can't record it, and it would reveal my account information. So I inevitably get like I've had previous examples of like people, not previous examples, but previous cases in which I've revealed certain things, like, oh, here's this email you can contact me with if you want to like do things, and like become unusable from spam. I've had bad shit happen to friends that revealed their in-game information. But I would be willing to post the replay of that game if I had one, because dear sweet mother of God, that Leona was like so shit and so toxic. I mean, I slung some like barbed things her way too. I apologized. It's like, okay, maybe we just weren't on the same page. I apologize. I tilted, and then she can like, it's like, okay, it's cool. We can still manage to a win here. And then she continued to be terrible and like starting to like continued trashing me, and like was toxic to everybody the entire game, and was just basically not even having a semblance of understanding of how to do her job properly. I am fucking done. I'm just done. This will be Cheese of Ages sighing off. And I'm not going to do that, like, outro with the GG for good game, like I've been trying to introduce into my videos. That's MOBA terminology there, with the GG, if you don't know. But there was nothing good about that game. And there's nothing good about this video. It's just me frickin' complaining and saying I'm done, and warning you about how what rank can do to you. I'm just done. Don't expect a video of like me going through my information from like promoting to silver Because I have to go through this bullshit for Bronze 3, Bronze 2, Bronze 1, and to get into Silver. So I gotta do this bullshit of winning 10 straight games, and then winning 2 of the next 3 matches 4 times. I've gotta win, like, 10 consecutive games, then win a best 2 out of 3 4 times with this shit propping up regularly because I'm in Bronze 4. I'm done. It's not worth it. Bronzes don't get ranked rewards, so I don't have to be stuck with a bronze frame all of next season. I just won't have a ranked frame. I don't even care about the triumphant skin or whatever it's called that you get for being gold. It's not worth doing this 8 times. 9 times. And being stuck in this perpetual hell of rising and falling and rising and falling through usually no fault of your own. Like 50% of the time, it's like you have no ways of stopping it. I'm done. This is cheezeofanger sighing off.